What's up, guys? Texas Triadic here with another look at some of the figures we got on this week. Today we're looking at the GIJOE Classified Snake Eyes and Polar Bear 2-pack set from the Mass Device, part cartoon or whatever. And I have to admit, there's only one reason why I got this, and this is because of the polar bear. And I was pretty excited about this. It's really interesting, like I said, about how these figures and things coming out. When they do the animals, it's just spectacular. So of course, when I saw the polar bear, I was like, yes. But of course, not only that though, this set was pretty, $65, pretty expensive set. But I had to have them. So of course, the Snowcats fully funded, coming with all the unlocks. And it's so funny how people were like, it's not gonna unlock. And I even thought to myself, it's not gonna reach the last stretch goal. At least we'll get, Lady J. And I wasn't, sad about losing the bear. How do you call that thing? Barrock thing, the Barrock thing, whatever, the tent. But it's kind of cool that we can have now the Snowcat and your polar bear. So I might, if I find another polar bear, I might pick up another polar bear, because I like polar bears. I think they're wonderful animals. It's pretty sad though. When I went to San Diego for Comic-Con, and I went to San Diego Zoo, was one of my parts of the trip, and those animals, those polar bears don't belong in captivity, y'all. It was good to see them, but you can tell that they're real skinny, and they even look brown more than white because of the, they're not in the Arctic, and it's just sad, But anyway, I have my own polar bear now. Yay! As you can see, it comes in this, the window box packaging. You can see the polar bear there. And then you got the Mass Device piece. And then you got Snake Eyes. And this Snake Eyes is basically the repaint of the retro one. And I actually like that one a lot. So, and this one does basically look like, what the cartoon looked like. And it's so funny that Super 7 did that one, and now Hasbro's doing it. So it's like, I doubt Super 7 is doing any more G.I. Joe Ultimates. I mean, apparently, maybe repaints during the Comic-Cons. It was so weird that they were not at Comic-Con. Something's going down with that company. You know what I mean? Like, there was no booth, there was no nothing. And I was just like, I was hoping to see new things, and nope, nada. So anyway, let's get back to this. As you can see in the window box packaging, you got the big polar bear, and then you got Snake Eyes, who looks really, really cool. And that blue, that polar bear. Look at that ferocious face right there. Look at that. Oh. Here we got the attributes. I believe that's for Snake Eyes, not the polar bear. You got that portrait. He's coming after him. And then you got, it's really cool. I do like this one. Like I said, it's still a little basic, but pretty neat that you can see that. So I wonder if there's gonna be a grizzly bear coming later, And I can see in the back of the packaging, you have Snake Eyes trying to do a Chris Pratt in Jurassic World by calming that polar bear down. You even got the bear trap, which is insane. Like, that's so barbaric and horrible. Jesus Christ, like, I mean, I guess, back in the day, of course, if you lived in the Arctic, you have to hunt, right? And that's just horrible, but, not just only that, if you're going to kill an animal for food, but also use that for, poaching. And it's just terrible. And the background, you can see, I guess that's the old man that saved him. Now, I mentioned this from the Snowcat. I think that would have been, instead of that stupid tent, why couldn't we get that unlocked? That would have been pretty cool to have two huskies and the sled and the old man. So I don't know if this is coming out later, because it looks like a real thing. Like, it looks like a real figure and toy and all that. So maybe we might be getting that. I don't know. Over here, you got the, the bear growling, and you got the 2 arrows on the side, and then you got a chunk of flesh coming out. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, look at that bear. That looks really cool. I'm really excited about this. So let's get this guy out of the packaging and get a closer look at the G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes and Polar Bear 2 pack. All right, let's go and start off with Snake Eyes. Like I said before, this is basically just a repaint of the retro carded version that came out. It's been a couple years already, I believe. The real rare one. I think a lot of people somehow missed on that. I remember how I got mine. I think I got mine through, I think Hasbro Pulse. So I had the flimsy card and everything, but still, I still have one mint on card. Yay! But anyway, but I do like this version. Now, of course, there's a million Snake Eyes out there. So this one is, just like I said, pretty unique. I like the way they fixed it, because I know they came out with one, and it came out with the Gray Wolf. But I wasn't really feeling, I think it had a big head or something. It just didn't fit right. It didn't look right. So they redid it in the retro style. So for the retro carded line or whatever, the subline. And now they released him here again. And he looks really neat, especially with those purple goggles and stuff and the purple highlights on there. So, you know, a beautiful blue, like as a navy blue. It looks really nice. It looks really good. I like this a lot. Then he has, of course, those pink hands, and if you remember, the mass device thing or whatever made him, I guess, glow. It gave a, you know, what do you call it? You know, I guess an effect on him. So his hands are pink, and you know, and he's got basically a knife sheath here and a gun holster here, with also where you put the ammunition. And you got those cool boots. So yeah, it looks really cool. But like I said, it's funny how we got the Super 7 one, and they basically, it's the same color and everything. So that's interesting that we haven't seen any more Super 7 Ultimates, but yeah, well. So it does come with him. There is a pack in here. Of course, you know, the Polar Bear is coming up next, because that's, for me, that's the highlight of the set. But let's look at some of the other things. Let's look at the other hands that he has. So he has some more pink hands. And I guess these are combat hands. He's got the slap your mama hands. And then also he has the 2 fists. So more pink, you know. And he drops all, there you go. Okay. Then he also comes with 2 regular hands that you can switch, but they're only trigger hands, so there's no other hands other than that in the box. So you can basically, if you want to take those off, but I'm keeping them on because I kind of like them. Comes with a dagger, basic dagger that he normally comes with. Let's put that there. Let's get that little bent here. Then he comes with a blaster rifle. Looks really nice. I like the silver on that. It looks really cool when they do send these accents on the weapons, because it makes them pop, makes them stand out a little bit more. All right. And then he comes with this this gun rifle that looks like it's from the cartoon. Really neat. And then the 2 well, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I get this is a canister. Okay, we got the mass device here. So this is the element. I forgot which element it is. I don't remember. But, you know, he grabbed this element. But I guess if I remember, I don't know, it's been a while. Like I said, I haven't seen the cartoon in such a long time. Yeah, there's a canister, I guess, and this is what makes him glow. It doesn't open or anything. You can't open it or nothing, but you can see the pink there. So maybe that's what happened. If you know in the comments, let me know, because like I said, I totally forgot. So, all right. So let's go and get the oh wait, there's one more accessory, and that is the bear trap, which is, you know, articulated. You can open and close it, which is really interesting that this came with this. I mean, and he's got the chain. I don't know where the chain ties to, which is kind of weird. And it's in this plastic thing, so it does rotate a little bit. But yeah, that's weird how this doesn't, like, I guess you can chain it to the tree, I guess. You know, so that's interesting. Let me see if I can see it in the box real quick. Nope, yeah, it's just there, nothing else. So yeah, interesting, very, very interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and get the star of the pack, star of the show, the polar bear. All right, let's look at the polar bear. And there's one thing I did forget to do with Snake Eyes, and that's show you, I guess, part of the articulation, but you already know. This is the same figures and stuff like that. I did notice that there's no silencer, unless I missed it. Let me double check, but I didn't see a silencer when I took him out of the packaging. It's so funny though, because I was like, the bear was missing a leg, and I was like, where's it at? It was inside the box, which is kind of funny. I was like, I got a bear without a box. I got a bear without a leg. Hell no. Anyway, now this is a massive animal beast, and I'm in love with it. Like I said, I love animals figures, and I guess, I guess it goes back to my childhood. I remember I had a whole thing of animals, those little plastic animals, and I loved them so much. I remember I used to have a truck, and I used to put the elephants in the truck, like that movie Smokey and the Bandit. Do you remember that back in the day? Yeah, that. I just love animals in general. So like, you know, when they come out with the figures, it's just so cool. And the Hasbro team, GIJOE Classified, they know how to make these things. They're so interesting, so cool. So here he is now. The colors are really cool because he has some dark shades of darkness on him. You know, as you know, or if you've not known, fun animal fact, polar bears are black underneath, and the white is over so he can blend into the Arctic. So there's dark colors underneath. So it's really interesting. I didn't know that either, and I was like, I like watching nature shows and stuff like that. So, but anyway, so in a sense, you can, I guess, see the dark tones underneath, I guess, but they put it over. So that's really neat. He's a big boy, as you can see. I guess let me zoom out a little. He is a really chunky boy, you know. Let's see if does his mouth, his mouth doesn't articulate. But look at that cute little face. Oh, look at the scars. Oh, I didn't see that. Wow. And is he blind in one eye? What is going on here? So yeah. So his articulation here, head up and down. Swivel here. Oh, look at those claws. Look at those cool claws in the paws. Jesus. Like, let's see. Snake Eyes little hand. So yeah, they really know how to scale well, which is pretty cool. I believe this piece comes off, I think. Or no, I guess not. There's a piece that comes off. I think it is that piece. You gotta it's supposed to come off. Oh, there you go. Ah! As you can see, and it shows his ribs there, whatever. And he does come with an extra piece that you can place on top. That shows him that he got wounded, which is, I'm not doing that. You know, save the polar bears. It's so sad how they live now. Like, they gotta hunt for food and stuff like that. And they are the known animals they will hunt you there. They will kill you. Polar bears will kill you, regardless. There's no, of course, grizzly bears will kill you too, but I feel like grizzly bears, you might have a chance to survive, but this guy, he gets you, you're done. There's no way. So anyway, back to here. He's got these big old legs. These are really cool, you know. And there's so much articulation back here also, so you can do different poses. Of course, you know, the main one, I think, is standing him up. Let's see if I can get him up, because that's the thing about it, is that once they stand up, you're done. So let's see if I can get him up. Hope he's not getting over the camera. Here, let me push this up a little higher and see if we can get him to stand. I'm sure I can pull it off. I just got to figure out the balancing part, you know. Yeah, I got him up. Woo! So yeah, this is really, really cool. I really like that. Of course, I just showed you one accessory that came with. Of course, like I said, you can switch this out and put the arrows. And then, of course, what I'm going to use it for, or what I'm going to change, because he just looks super nice there. I want to put this on. Look at this. That roar. That's insane. Look at that. So let's pop this out, because he looks kind of like a Coca-Cola bear. We're going to change him into this ferocious animal that he is. Much respect. Just sad how he's... I mean, look at that. That's just insane. Like, seriously, like, who would want to, like, run into this guy? Like, that's just insane. It's just so cool. Like I said, like, I'm in love with this because of this guy. So, you know, just beautiful. They do a hell of a job with the animals. I thought Fiona, when they did the crocodile, I was like, holy smokes, this is a really cool thing. And I never dreamt that they would do more animals. So let's hopefully they do more. Maybe, like I said, Hasbro, can we do a giraffe or a elephant? Or, ooh, you know, it'd be kind of cool, a lion. Ooh, and a tiger. Ooh, and bears. Oh my. Oh, they did a bear, but I mean like a grizzly bear or something. Anyway, so yeah. All right, so let's go and get these two on my turntable to get my final thoughts on the GI Joe Classified Snake Eyes and Polar Bear 2-pack set from the Mass Device. All right, here are my final thoughts on the GI Joe Classified Snake Eyes versus Polar Bear set. Now, all I can say, what can I say about this? I mean, I love, like I said before, the animals in this line. I mean, from Fiona the crocodile to Potbelly, you know, with Naugahyde, and of course the dogs and the wolves and all that good stuff. This is just another added bonus. This is just a really, really cool addition. I mean, we didn't really ask for a polar bear, but no, I mean, this is really cool. I mean, it's just magnificent. And, you know, even if they sold the polar bear by itself, I would definitely buy it. I do like the Snake Eyes. You know, I was going to change the hands because, you know, I mean, not that I have anything against pink. It just looks weird. But actually, no, I kind of like the way it looks. And I do like the aesthetics of this figure. I mean, he does pop. He does stand out. When you all doing photography, you know, he's going to look great. So... I'm just, you know, kind of taken back a little bit that, you know, we got, you know, a figure that normally Super 7 would do. They would basically go into and just do the cartoon series of the figures, and we get actually one in the classified. So I'm very, you know, it's very, you know, not confusing, but it makes me scratch my head a little bit. What's going here? What's going on? Does it mean that we're going to get more of these cartoon characters into the line? So we'll see. And of course, you know, this is basically based on the Mass Device, so you got, you know, that other element. Breaker has one of them, so then we're just waiting for the divers. I kind of you know, my pre-order the divers just were canceled, and I had opportunity to grab them on Pop Culture, but then they sold out. So I think the divers are going to be available in a couple of weeks, so I'll just check out Target. I'm sure they're going to have them in stock, so I'm not worried. But anyway, now going on to the polar bear. I mean, that's just a magnificent sculpt. I love polar bears, and I went to the San Diego Zoo recently and saw them. Of course, they were kind of different, like I said before, but they're just magnificent animals, and it's just so great to see this. Of course, you know, that also other head sculpt with the mouth open. I don't know which one I'm going to pose, but anyway, this is a great set. If you haven't grabbed them, go ahead and grab them now. He's still on Amazon. He is a little pricey. They are a little pricey, I'm assuming, because of the bear. So this set was a little pricey, $65. You know, yeah, it's kind of you know, but you never know. They might put them on sale. You know, and I'll keep my eye out and I'll let you know if that does happen. But this is worth the set alone. I mean, even if you're tired of having so many Snake Eyes, I think the polar bear alone is a great buy. All right, so what do you guys think of this? Do you like the animals? What is your favorite animal, and what animals would you like to see? I mean, do you think they'll do more animals, like, you know, maybe hopefully an elephant and a giraffe and a lion and a tiger and maybe a grizzly bear? Oh my. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comments. Until next time, we will see you later. Yo, Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.